Welcome back to Mama's Fluent English. Today, we are going to deconstruct the concept of home immersion. Often, as advanced learners, we hit a plateau where the standard study habits just don't seem to move the needle anymore. That's because fluency at this level isn't about continuing to memorize rules, it's about lifestyle integration. I want to provide you with a blueprint, a strategic framework to overhaul your daily environment so that English becomes the default rather than a conscious effort. As many of you know, I'm in my own journey with the Polish language. Even with my background in linguistics and health, I'm not immune to hitting a wall with language learning. At the beginning, the sheer complexity of Polish felt like a physical barrier. The grammar and vocabulary was so different from other languages I had learned. Spanish was much easier because it's more similar to English. For an advanced learner, this wall usually looks different. It's that feeling of being able to communicate, but lacking the nuance of the cultural flow that makes a speaker sound truly native. It's about breaking through the final layers of resistance to your fluency. One phenomenon I want to discuss is the wall of noise. Early in my Polish studies, I made the mistake of flooding my environment with high-level native content. I thought passive listening would eventually translate into subconscious acquisition. However, if the input is too far beyond your current grasp, your brain simply treats it as white noise. It's actually counterproductive because it raises your affective filter. You get stressed or you get bored, and eventually you tune it out. And your brain will automatically tune out that language whenever it hears it. To progress, you need a high volume of input that is challenging but fundamentally comprehensible. If you look at this puzzle on the screen, you'll see that this piece almost fits, but the geometry is just slightly off. It has the right colors, so it looks like it might belong, but this is not going to go here. This is like studying content beyond your level. As an advanced student, your job is to find the missing piece that fits with your puzzle. So don't waste your energy on content that doesn't click. Let's talk about ways you can build bricks in your immersion home. Tip 1, the digital flip. This is a non-negotiable for advanced learners. Most of us interact with our phones hundreds of times a day. By switching your operating system to English language, you're forcing your brain to engage with English many times throughout the day. It's not active studying, but it will help you learn the language every time you're going into your settings or using an app. And make sure, because changing your settings, the language over to English, won't necessarily change your apps to English. So most apps, you're going to have to go in and change the language on the settings on that individual app as well. So go into your general settings first, change that to English, and then go through the apps that you use every day and switch them all over to English. The second pillar is active engagement or visual immersion. At the C1 level, you should be consuming content that mirrors your actual interests. If you're into philosophy, watch English lectures on philosophy. If you're a gardener, watch English gardening blogs. When the subject matter is compelling, your brain stops obsessing over the grammar or vocabulary you don't know and starts focusing on the actual message. This is where the magic happens. You acquire the language subconsciously because your brain puts the pieces together without conscious effort on your part. For environmental immersion, we're moving past the simple labels. Many of you may have heard of the Post-it method where you label objects in your home. And this is great for building vocabulary, but at an advanced level, you probably already know the word mirror. So instead, you're going to use the sticky notes for phrases. You can use phrases like the mirror needs to be cleaned or the mirror is clean. You can use phrases like to reflect on something and post it on the mirror to help you associate that phrase with the reflection of the mirror. Don't just do this in your bathroom, do this throughout your home. So in the kitchen, you can label things like my favorite food is popcorn, or yesterday I cooked chili, for example. Whatever sentences you're going to remember the meaning of just by seeing it in different places in your home. And within a week or so, these will normally be embedded in your long-term memory. So change them up every week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. You're going to have to change and put new sentences. Whatever words, phrases, and sentences you're trying to learn, incorporate into these, depending on the vocabulary you need. Now let's talk about curated auditory input. At this stage, your passive listening should be high quality and naturally paced. But the rule remains, it cannot be noise to you. If you find your mind wandering during a podcast, it's either too dry or too difficult. Find audio that keeps you interested and that you can understand. The goal is to reach a state of flow where you forget you're even listening in a foreign language. This is how you know your immersion environment is working. You don't want to understand every word, but you do want to understand the main message without effort. Success is a result of consistency. It's not studying English in 5-hour blocks. It's every day reading for 15 minutes in English, watching videos in English every day, listening to audio in English, maybe on your lunch break, and then listening to passive audio while you cook and clean. And before you go to bed, it's really helpful each night to review what you learned that day. And that really helps solidify it in your long-term memory if you think about what you read and what you watched and listened to. If you think about it before bed, maybe even jot down some notes on what was interesting, then while you're sleeping, your brain will put that information in your long-term memory. You're building something substantial here. Every time you make an adjustment to your home environment to make it more of an immersive environment, it's a commitment to your future self, and it strengthens your English home. Don't just get discouraged by plateaus. Instead, look at what you can do to build your home up more. You have the tools, you just need to execute the plan. If you appreciated this deeper dive into immersion strategies, please give this video a like. It helps my channel immensely and allows me to keep creating this content for you. And if you haven't joined our community yet, make sure to subscribe and clicking that notification bell so that you can stay on top of your English goals. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the most challenging part of maintaining an immersion environment at home? Let's start our conversation in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.